Hi, I'm Mike Glenn, and welcome to our YouTube channel. I am the senior pastor of Brentwood Baptist Church, and the reason we do this is to help you every day. I know when you talk about following Christ and when you're talking about theology, there are all these big terms and all that we always throw around in church. But how do we make those things work day to day, kind of in the Monday through Saturday world that we all live in? One of the things that always frustrates me is when people say, well, Mike, you don't live in the real world, like I live on Mars during the week. But the reason we do this is to kind of help you with those Monday through kind of Saturday decisions. And so if you like what we're doing, hit like, and we'd love for you to hit subscribe because that's kind of, you're the reason we're doing all of this. What is the question that I will ask that will get me to the heart of most marriage issues? One question. You know what it is? Nah, it's not that. I will ask, when's the last time you went out on a date? You would think that would be a fairly obvious question. But the look I get from both husband and wife is a look of total surprise. When's the last time you went out on a date? Then I'll get a whole long list of excuses. It's everything from, well, work's really demanding right now. I've been out of town. When I get home, I don't want to go anywhere. Or our kids are teething. Our kids have just started high school. Our kids are in middle school. Our kids are this and that kind of stuff. There's always a million reasons not to have. When's the last time you asked your wife out for a date? I mean, the whole 9 yards. You called her and said, hey, I have tickets to this concert, or I heard this new movie's coming into town. I'd love for us to go see it. When's the last time you did that? Now, let's go back. Let's go back to the time when you first saw her. I don't know where you were. Were you in class? Were you in college? Were you, hanging out and you see her? You don't know her. She doesn't know you. You just know she's the best looking woman you have ever seen in your life, and you've got to find out who she is. So what do? You go through this elaborate game to try to find out who she is. Who are her friends? Who is she talking to? Who do you know that she's talking to that you can go around and figure out who she is? Then you're going to figure out who her friends are. So you can start hanging out with her friends so you can just randomly be there when somebody introduces you. If you are in college or something, you find out when she goes to the library. You don't go to the library, but you're going to find out when she does, so you can happen to be there. You're going to be going through this big thing about finding out her schedule. So whether she's going to the ball game, well, you just might go to the ball game, just so you can be there to have one of those moments, go, oh, hi, haven't met you, great to meet you, and you can start the relationship. Do you remember how hard you worked just to make sure that first date happened? Do you remember how hard you worked to make sure the second date happened? Do you remember how you obsessed over what you would wear, where you would go, what you would do, how you sat in the car and practiced the conversation? Don't look at me like you didn't do that. Of course you did. As for as the ladies, you go through this elaborate game that we would happen to be at the same place where the guy you want to date is, where you whisper to your friends that, if he does ask you out, you might go out with him. So there's all these games we play to be sure that we're at the right place at the right time so we can make the date happen. And then you get married. And what happens? The worst thing that could ever happen to a marriage happens. Taking each other for granted. You don't think about how you look for her. You don't think about how you look for him. You don't give her reasons to stay in love with you. You don't anticipate those same kind of things that you did when you were dating, and you take each other for granted. And it's not that the marriage dies because somebody violently ripped it apart. It dies because you quit putting the energy into it. It's like you unplug a machine. Yeah, it may keep whirring for a little while, but the energy's gone. And when that happens, so here's my question. When's the last time you asked her out for a date? I'm talking the whole 9 yards. I'm talking about being sure that you call her on Monday or Tuesday because, when I was in college, if you didn't have a date by Wednesday, you were by yourself on the weekend. Okay? So I'm not going to take her time for granted. I'm going to say, hey, here's what I want to do, and you're the most important person I want to do it with. Dress up for her. Dress up for him. He is the most important person in your life, or so you say, and he should get that kind of attention from you. The date does a couple of things. One, it tells the spouse, in this case your wife, that she is the priority of time that you control. Now, everybody understands there's part of your life you don't control. You may not have any say about whether or not you have to be in Phoenix next Wednesday. You may not have any real say about if you can come home at 5 or 7:30. She understands that. What she won't understand is she's not the priority of the time you do control. Let me give you an example. So you are gone all week on business. You fly in Friday afternoon, you're home, and then you're golfing Saturday morning, 5 hours with the guys on the course. You see, it will not be that you were out of town all week that hurts your feelings. It will be that you chose to play golf for the time that you did control. So if you are coming up on a busy time and you know that, put the date on your calendar. Say, listen, I've got tickets for this concert, or this movie is opening up, or man, I've just heard about a new restaurant and I've got reservations just for the two of us. It will give her something to anticipate. Yes, I know we're going through a really stressful time right now, but we have this Friday night or this Saturday night, and I can't wait to get there. It gives us something to anticipate, almost like a kid at Christmas. We have something to look forward to. And as soon as you go on that date, plan your next one. Make sure that your spouse is the priority of the time that you do control. So if your marriage is not where you want it to be, there's not the spark or the energy that you thought there would be, then let me ask you this. When's the last time you went out on a date? Start there. A lot of these other things that take care of themselves. I'm Mike Glenn, and I'm the senior pastor of Brentwood Baptist Church, and we're really glad that you're part of this YouTube channel. If you like it, hit subscribe, or for sure hit like, and we'll see you next time.